So, hey there, everybody. Here we are. Today, we're going to be retouching the picture of Pri. Pri is my really good friend. We sometimes make some fire content together. Well, when I make content, we haven't really made videos or I've had been drawing up some concepts on, how to film, especially with how reels have been popular over the past couple of months or years. So we've been brainstorming ideas on how to go about recording that. But today I'm going to be walking you guys through my thought process on how I edit this picture. So moving into this picture, the first thing I'm going to do is just zoom in just to see if there are any blemishes on the picture, like spots on her skin or pimples that I think I need to remove throughout the picture. First thing first, I like to really remove these with my patch with the patch tool. Using this for me is just more efficient because I find that you can really mess things up using the stent tool over here, or using sometimes the removal tool, which I'm also going to test throughout the video. It works really great. I've actually been using that a lot over the past couple of months, especially since Adobe's introduced the AI feature. So first thing I try to do is try to find a good spot when I see like the dark spot like these, circle that and then try to find a good spot, and then do the same thing over here. Try to find all the dark spots or the imperfect spots and try to drag it over to where it's kind of looking perfect on their skin. Well, not perfect, but near perfect. So I try to go through the whole picture. And I'm seeing that a lot on like her arms and stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna clear that out. It looks good to me. Nice. So as a photographer, these are just some things that you see, to just a normal person, they really wouldn't care about all of these. But just kind of putting your work out there, you try to make sure that, you're putting the best work that you can. For me, I don't mind spending hours and hours on pictures or getting through the whole retouching and then starting over. I don't mind that because sometimes I retouch up to where to the point where I feel like it's too much, and I know I could be making some copy layers to really go back on things that I've done and try to fix those, or try to delete just that copy. Basically something you can achieve through layering your work correctly in basically over here, layering each one of your work that you do. So for example, if you're just retouching the edges of her face or her hair, you basically just go ahead and just create another layer or a copy layer, basically selecting Control J or Command J, and try to work just with that part of the subject on that layer. That way, if you make some kind of mistake, you can just go back and delete that layer and just try to rework that again. For me, I think I'm past that, and sometimes I just have time, I'm bored, so I took the time to just kind of edit the pictures to the way I like it, putting my clients first and making sure that they get the best picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and try the tool over here, which is the remove tool. So I'm going to size my brush to where it's just in line, and then just run it over there. That should kind of help us try to even that out. Okay, even that out as well. And then we will do more even once we're doing some frequency separation. Or I also have like the automatic frequency separation tool that I use. If you like something like that, so let me know. I'll send that to you through your email. Just send me a message or send me a DM on here or through my Instagram, and then I'll send you that automatic retouching action that I actually have that's actually really, really nice and fast forward your work. So you don't have to spend as much time doing, evening all the skin tones and, doing a lot of work on here. So once I kind of get all the blemishes out, like I think this is kind of good, I will go ahead and run my action. So I'm just going to zoom out on this image a little bit. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to fix the background layer. So right click on this and then go ahead and go to the patch tool. Try to select this right here. Move this up a little bit. I'm going to get more into like evening the background throughout the whole video. I have a really simple method, which I kind of do with frequency separation. The same frequency separation method that I use to even out the skin tone, I use kind of the same method to even out the background, which is pretty sweet that you don't have to kind of memorize a whole nother step or make a whole nother action just to smooth out the background. I got you guys, just making sure that we all learn throughout this whole Photoshop journey, and there's always new things to learn. Don't just try to bottle yourself up, into the point where you like, oh, I know it all. You can really get stuck, trying to bubble yourself in that spot. So I think this picture or the background looks good for now. We're gonna do more to it later on. I think I can fix this right here as well. Okay, we'll edit more of that later on. So what I'm gonna do over here is zoom in so you guys can see what really happens once I use this action over here that I have. I'm gonna go to my action tool, scroll down and hit Auto FX for Mac. So once I hit Auto FX for Mac, you will see it's gonna go ahead and run my action, and then boom, basically smoothing things out for you that you don't have to do much work. Like look at the arms that we went through, like look at how it's all smooth now. Sometimes what I've learned from this is that it sometimes take out the details from certain places that you really want the detail. So what I normally do is I create a mask and then use a black brush, use a black color brush. Make sure my opacity is 100, my flow is 100, and then just go over the eyes. Just kind of place that I feel like I don't need to do a lot of evening. Kind of take away everything from the eyes, everything that the auto retouching tool did from the eyes. Take that out from the mouth. Try to take that out as well on the eyebrows. Just making sure that it all looks good all over. So yeah, looks good for now. We barely have done anything, and the picture really looks good. Pri actually came in clutch with her makeup, so it was really good. She did extremely well. I'm telling you, we really don't have to do much with this picture. Yeah, but I'm just still gonna walk you through kind of how I still finish it up. So once I do this, the Auto FX2, what I normally do is just create a stem visible layer. So basically blending all the layers together and making it as one. So the button I hit for that is Command Option E on my Mac. I'm just gonna do that again, Command Option E. Or actually Command Shift E. Actually, my bad about that. It's Command Shift E. Or Control Shift E on Windows, and then that will go ahead and shift you into basically the stem visible layer. And then once I do that, since I kind of already have my skin to where I kind of like it, what I'm gonna do is still brush over the skin, just making sure that everywhere looks good to my liking. Still going through another set of frequency separation, just making sure that the skin is all smooth. So yeah, I'm gonna move this over to where I can barely see any details. So keeping it at 2.7 looks good to me. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open the folder over here, go to my low layer, right click on the brush tool, go to my mixer brush, make sure that this right here is empty. If it's not empty, double click on here. It should empty this out. My wet is at 9%, load on 75, mix at 90, and then flow is at 100%. Make sure sample all layers on check. So what I do here is I just try to even out where, from my standpoint, I think, the skin needs evening. So I think, here is a little dark. The shadow is not falling as smoothly over here. I still need to even out the edges over here, and as well as the arm over here, just making things a little perfect. So I'm gonna zoom in and start working. And make sure when you're doing these, just make sure to not do a lot. Just be a little gentle with the image. Just do things slightly so you don't mess the image up super bad. So just try to even things out throughout the skin. So making sure this is all good. You can always check and see what you have done so far. Hey, that looks good. Very subtle, not really dragging the skin complexion like really too far, but just keeping it really simple throughout the image. So as you can see over here, drag detail over here. I'm still seeing some blemishes right here that I need to fix, but I'll get to that when I'm really finishing up over here with my details. I can get to the high layer and kind of fix that up. So this looks good. You can see over here what I've done. Very subtle, but yeah. So what I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna do the same thing to the neck, making sure that the skin is all smooth, and make sure that we don't have like light and dark spots, and with uneven fading between the shadows and highlights. So gonna go ahead and even the arms over here as well. So as you can see over here, as I'm brushing, try not to move from like the highlights and drag into the shadows, but more of just keeping it right in between, shadows to shadows, highlight to highlights. If I'm, brushing in the highlights and trying to make sure that, it's proper or that it falls the right place, I make sure that I'm kind of keeping it right in the frame of the highlight and not just dragging all the way around. So I think that looks good. I'm gonna zoom out just to take a look. And I'm also gonna even out this shoulder right here. Yeah, it looks good. Always make sure to try to resize your brush when you're going in certain places in photos on the skin. Make sure that you're always resizing and you're not just dragging the mouse throughout. One of the things that actually made me really fast in editing these pictures is actually the Wacom tablet, which has been really, really major throughout this my editing journey. I am not sponsored by Wacom. I'm just gonna note that over here. But however, it has made my editing journey really, really easy, or my retouching journey really, really easy. Just actually working with a pencil, which I'm pretty used to holding, is a really nice feature, and having just that pad to work with. So I think, in the beginning stage, if you could save up that $50-$60. I forgot how much it actually is now. And actually get you that Wacom tablet. That'll be really, really beneficial to you, and it will actually save you a lot of time editing than actually doing this with your mouse. So as you can see over here, I'm still just evening out the skin tone, making sure that, her feet, the skin tone's even on her feet as well. We're not just leaving anything just out there. As you can see, I'm used to this. I have done this a lot. I have been taking pictures since 2015. 2015 was basically the year I graduated high school. I started taking pictures then because my dad bought a camera when he came from Africa to take pictures during my graduation. And since I took pictures on that camera, I really wanted my own camera, and then I really started taking pictures. But yeah, that's how kind of it started. But a little bit before that, before my dad even got the camera, I stumbled upon a photography class on campus when I was waiting for my auntie to pick me up because fresh out of Africa, I missed the school bus. So when I missed the school bus, I gave my auntie a call to pick me up from school because I didn't have any other way to get home. So I had to wait on campus till she got off of work before she can come and pick me up. So while waiting on campus, I went down in the basement in Ypsilanti High School. And then I went ahead and stumbled upon this class, and I took a picture. My first camera I held was a Nikon D750, it was not a Nikon D750, but however, it was a Nikon D5500, if I'm getting that right. After that, I went ahead and that was the actual camera that I bought from my dad, which he took back to Africa to really help my mom's school. And then when I moved from Michigan to Kentucky, I bought my own Nikon D5500 and then started taking pictures of my friends and just learning how to edit overall. Yeah, so it's been a journey for me. It didn't just take me just 1 second to really edit my pictures or to really learn how to edit pictures. It took me a really long time to really master shadows and highlights and kind of how people like the skin, and especially brown skin. Brown skin, I love brown skin. That's one of the reasons why I take a lot of pictures with brown skin girls. And yeah, it's a lot tougher for other people to edit. That's why I love it. Some people really edit black people's skin and then really mess it up and don't really know how to add the color, how to add, really color grade the image, and really messes it up. So, which is really why it took me forever to really learn the intricacies of how to really edit the skin, and make sure that the color's right. We're not over blending or under blending the skin tones within our image. So yeah, I learned that over several years, and then I started taking pictures at a fashion show and doing a lot of things throughout the Louisville area. So that's kind of how I started really editing and really started my journey. So as you can see over here, this picture looks good. The skin tone looks perfect to me. I don't think I really need to do a lot more. As you can see, I try to blend kind of everything in. I'm just gonna kind of zoom in a little bit. So you can see over here, that's before. And I'm gonna take that on before, take that on before, take that on. Zoom back out. Before, take that on, before, take that on. All right. So after I do my dodging and burning, what I'm gonna do over here is do a little skin tone evening. I'd like to even my skin tone before I try to do anything else on the picture, just making sure that I have even skin tone throughout the pictures over here. So I have this Photoshop action that I normally use. So click on the Photoshop action, and then it would normally do like a gradient scale on the image. Try to basically take like the shadows, what's the shadow, what's the midtones, and what's the highlight on the image, and try to apply it throughout the whole image. So as you can see, I apply the match. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit Command I or Control I on the Windows, just to display what's under the layer mask over here. So you can see how it kind of even out the skin tone over here, all over the skin. You can see the face is even, the neck is the same color, and as well as the arms over here. And then the feet is also the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide that layer mask again, and then hit on X to switch out my, the colors to a white foreground color, because this is black. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and select a brush and make sure my opacity is 100, flow is 100, and then zoom in, and then just try to brush in the whites all over just the skin, and making sure that I don't affect the hair too much or the background. So as you can see, I'm just gonna go ahead and start coloring in. And just note that while we're doing this, we can always reduce the opacity, and making sure that, you know, we're not overdoing this throughout the, you know, the whole picture. So that was kind of horrible. That was not precise at all. So to that, and then go back. So I always try to switch between X. If you hit X, you always switch between the white and black foreground color. The foreground and background color. So just try to brush this in throughout the skin. And don't worry if you see that it looks kind of weird, it's because you kind of close up to it, you're brushing it. Always reduce the opacity, turn down the reds and the image, which is an action that I have over here as well. And just make everything look good, and, you know, even out. One way to check, you know, if you're kind of covering up everything throughout your picture is to hit the slash key on your keyboard. I will put that on the screen so you can see that as soon as I'm done coloring this in. So you can see as we're coloring this, it's just giving it the right skin tone, especially with the reds, which is something we can pull back off a little bit on. Just giving the skin tone a nice warm color and even color. So as you can see, it looks great. So one thing I kind of feel like I overdid on when I was doing the retouching, I feel like I overdid the arm right here. So I'm gonna still go back to the low layer and try to even that out a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to my mixer brush, right click on the mixer brush. Like I was telling you, make sure that the right here is kind of cleared out. We don't have a black color in there or a white color. So you double click on that, it will clear out the color. And then I'll zoom in to my image a little bit and try to not do too much, but try to blend this in a little bit more. So when I was doing that, it came back on. So that's one thing, be careful of this. It'll mess up the image real quick. All right, I feel like that's perfect. It's not too bad. All right. And then what I'm gonna do for the skin tones over here, like I said, can always reduce the opacity. You can see my opacity is not at 100%. If I did it at 100%, it would be all the way up, and then I can reduce it down to about 20 or 15%. With this case, I'm gonna reduce it to 13%, which I feel like is a really great complexion for her, which is not all of the skin tone. This is just even in the skin tone. It's not really even color grading it, so it looks like a pretty good. Looks like we add a lot of pop to the image overall. So After that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do a solid color. So one thing that I said I was gonna go ahead and show you how to do is hit the slash key on the keyboard, which will basically show you all the places that you color over when you select the mask over here. So hit the slash again, that'll go away, hit it again, that'll show you everywhere that you marked off. You can see over here that I made some really good mistakes, which is why, you know, it's good for you to kind of double check what do you have selected or what you have brushed in once you click on the mask. So I'm going to go back to a white foreground color and select this, and also this here. One thing that I like to bring back in is the lips and the eyes. I do not like to color the lips and the eyes when I am color grading or adding some even in the skin tone or coloring anything. I still like to put the original color back so it stays neutral. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit X. Actually, okay, it's already on the black foreground, so I'm gonna color back the eyes. Reduce just a little bit, cover up the eyes, and as well as the teeth, so we don't make it yellow or pink or mess it up. Hit the slash again to remove all of that, and then zoom back out a little bit so we can see all of our image. So that looks really, really great. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and click on that solid color, select solid color over here. And what I like to do is type in a solid color number that I have for brown skin tones, which are, I saved it on my swatches somewhere, but it's not there. So I'm gonna bring this up over here. The number that I normally use for my image over here to basically, which is just one of the things, especially if I'm color grading, like the skin tone is not super dark, it's not super light, but it's just in the middle. I use this this hexadecimal number. I'm not even sure if I'm actually getting the right term, but it's 634923. So this color right here, I'll apply that to my image, and then I would do I'll do a soft light, and then also reduce the opacity all the way down, so you can see it is bringing that brown into the image. You can see all of that brown skin. I want to sing Brown Skin Girl, but my voice is horrible. Okay. So you can see that looks great on the skin, but however, it's affecting the background, and we don't want that to affect the background. So what we're gonna do over here is select the mask over here and cover that up with Command I on the Windows, Command I on the Mac and Control I on the Windows to make that a black foreground color. And then over here, select the white, and make sure that we're on our brush. Opacity is 100, flow is 100. And then we're gonna go ahead and zoom in on the image over here and color everything in. Make sure, I'm just gonna go ahead and select this, that way you can see what I was talking about. Sometimes when you select it, just be careful, it switches the color, the foreground color from white to black, which basically have you covering things up. So you just want to be mindful of that. So I'm just gonna remove it so I have some, so I can see kind of like what I'm doing, what I'm covering up, or what I'm not covering up. This is gonna be nice to see that brown skin. It brings me pride and joy that I actually understand, you know, how to really do this, or can find some people that really understand how to edit in Photoshop and actually apply like brown skin color. Because for me, I really hate to see pictures where they edit a brown skin girl and then it's just super red or super green, or it's not just the right way. I feel like there is a hexadecimal to every skin tone that you need to kind of just search and know. I'm still in the process of really finding everything for a skin tone, so I try to not guess throughout my way when I'm editing the pictures, but however, just find a way to where I am not getting a skin complexion that is too far off from the model's normal complexion. So just making sure that we have everything right and we're not overdoing or underdoing anything, because I feel like pictures last a lifetime. People have these pictures, and once they pay really good money for a really good work, and you gave them a really good work, that picture lasts forever. Showing that picture is like a representation of them, the photo shoot that year or that birthday or that event that you're trying to capture. It's just a special moment over us. So try to take it as seriously as I can and try to put as much work into, putting out a good product, or a good finishing product, I should say. So just make a rough selection around here, and that looks good. So zoom out, and then I'm going to put this on so you can see that looks great. If I bring it up all the way, that's going to be super brown, and if I turn it back to about 15 or 13%, it looks great at 15. I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 15. So as you can see, that looks great. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and use my reduce reds action over here. And then once I go ahead and click this action, it should go ahead and drop all the reds in the image that you should see, like all the reds. It kind of looks, a little desaturated on the reds. It's a little pullback. So what you can do over here is select this and then kind of scroll back on the reds until you feel like the right amount of red is in your image, that it's not just super red, but it's just right to your liking. Because as you understand that red is not brown and brown is not red, but you can mixing the cyans with the reds and then the brown overlays and get the right complexion to what to get what you're really looking for in the skin tone. So to me, that looks pretty great. I don't really even need to do any dodge and burn, even though I'm probably going to go ahead and just do a global dodge and burn on this image. Second thing that I'm going to do is, since I reduced the reds, it's at 40%. Kind of looks great. I'm going to pull it back a little bit to 25 and just kind of see how it looks. Okay, at 25, it looks good at 25. I feel like I don't want to, just pull it back. We can always go and, pull it back a little more. So the next thing I'm going to do over here is just reaching my skin tones a little bit. This will, darken the shadows and brighten the highlights. So I like to pull this back just slightly. And you can see that makes my image pop. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do over here, I'm going to reduce that a little. That's a 7%. I like to zoom in just to make sure that I'm not darkening too much of the spot or lighting too much. That looks great. And just know what I'm hitting to zoom in and zoom out throughout is Command plus to zoom in and Command I to zoom out on Windows, and Control plus to zoom in, Control plus to zoom out. And if you want to get the image to the right size, you just go ahead and after you hit Control plus or Command or Control minus, just go ahead and hit Control 0 to get the image to full size. So after I put my rich tones in, the next thing that I'm gonna do is put in some skin texture. Because after before I even put in the skin texture, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the skin texture. No, before I actually put in the skin texture, I'm gonna go ahead and smoothen out the background. Just make sure that my background is smoothened out. And then when I'm affecting the skin, I'm just going in and just doing that and then finishing out the image. I'm probably not gonna do a dodge and burn because I feel like the image is, it looks great and predid her makeup pretty well on this picture, so I don't really have to do a lot or redo anything throughout this picture. So that's great that when you have a model that can actually, you know, do makeup for herself. So, and actually a great makeup, not just anything. But yeah, just want to compliment her on that. So Retouch, after what's next that I said I was gonna do. I'm kind of going off script over here, just talking through this whole thing. Yes, we're gonna go ahead and create a stem visible layer. So we're gonna go ahead and hit Command Shift E. Actually, let's go ahead and hit Command Z. Go back, actually hit Command Option Shift E to leave everything on there and create a stem visible layer while keeping all of the other layers on the bottom, everything that we did before. And then I'm gonna use another set of my basic frequency separation action. Keep that again at 2.7. And then go back to my low layer, select my mixer brush. Just try to even out the same way that I did the skin tones. Try to even out the background the same way. That's kind of how I edit my background. I feel like that is the best way to do it. You get a really even colors once you're done evening out everything. Just go ahead and show you how I do it on my side. So just even these out over here so it don't look too rough. Keeping these as well over here. And even this out over here as well. Just kind of making sure that you don't have just all highlights and shadows. I know it's the background, you don't have to kind of focus too crazy on it, but sometimes you just want things to kind of look and feel like it's in place. So the details matter. Another thing that I'm going to do, especially if I'm working on the background, I also like to increase my wetness a little bit on my brush. That way it's blending in. I'm not being too careful, but a little careful, but just blending in the images just right. All right, I feel like I'm a little satisfied with how the background is. Yep, it's not like kind of everywhere like it was before. It's kind of smoothing out. Looking at before and then after, it's kind of smoothing out throughout the picture. I feel like the red is just a little too much, so I am still gonna go ahead and just do another set of reduced reds. So I'm gonna go ahead and reduce my reds and over here. And then just pull this back. Man, that looks perfect. Okay. So after that, what I'm gonna do, then go ahead and add some skin texture. Skin texture 16-bit. This image over here. Now what I kind of look for is the grain on the image and kind of make sure that, you know, the texture is a little, it's just up to where it's not too grainy on the image, but however it's showing just a little bit of texture. You see after this, we're gonna go ahead and blur it out a little bit so it's not just too much. Just keeping that texture on the image. So that looks great. Keep that about 20. You know, we can add in the blur to where I like to start it off as, at the lowest point and then ease my way in. Kind of keep it at 0.6 or 0.7 or 8. I like that a little better. Yep, okay, 0.8 looks a little better. And then once we create that mask, we're gonna go ahead, since it's on the black, we're just gonna go ahead and paint that over the skin. So hit my, make sure I'm on the brush tool. White for the foreground layer. If it's on the black, just hit X. It'll switch over and then just paint this over. Paint the texture for the skin tone. So you can see the texture is all coming back. Make sure that you're careful with the jewelry and everything else. And also just note that you can always reduce the opacity if it's too much, you know. If you feel like you've done too much, you can always reduce the opacity of this. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely too much. But once I reduce the opacity, you should see everything should go right to, you know, how I kind of like it. Okay. So you should see over here, once I reduce this opacity right here, and I'll take that back. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce that to to about 22. 22 looks good, keeping the texture in there. Note that I'm still gonna go ahead and do a sharpen tool that should go ahead and bring out some more of the texture and kind of things that we bring out more of the texture back in the image. So I know that I missed this over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and see where did I miss it. I know I missed it probably somewhere all the way at the bottom, which is something that I really can't correct. But in this case, something that you would do is just go ahead and like create a little, select the lasso tool, kind of click here, and then this is kind of where I use my stem visible layer. Actually, you want to do something like this on a you want to do this on a layer that's visible to everything. So just create another stem visible layer by hitting Command Option Shift E or Control Option Shift E on the Windows, and then you should get another image, a stem visible layer. Select that lasso tool. Just gonna draw in at the edge right here. I'm not gonna do this for all the image because nobody really draws in to kind of see all of this. So, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit S for my stem visible tool. Zoom in a little bit and just sample by hitting Alt over here. Just drag that in a little bit. make sure that your brush is make sure that your brush over here is the feather is all the way, the hardness all the way to 0, and you're using just the right size of brush, so that way you're not painting everything. That looks a little better. I'm gonna hit Command D to deselect. It looks a little better now. I'm not gonna focus too much on that. So this image looks good. Last thing I'm gonna do on this image is sharpen it up a little bit, just making sure that everything looks good and sharpen. I have an action over here called Smart Sharpen. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drop the high pass value down to about 2.0 and hit OK. And then on this over here, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the opacity of the sharpness, so not making the picture look too crazy or too weird. Drop that down. This image looks perfect. This is crazy. This image looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the before after. I'm gonna try to put all of this in a folder by selecting the top layer, scroll all the way down, hit Shift and select the bottom layer, and then hit Command G on Mac and Control G on your Windows, and then you can try to see over there. That's before and that's after. Before, after, before, after. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is the final image. This is the final image. I think I'm really satisfied with what I have. I didn't really have to do too much like dodge and burn, going into like really pop out the colors, because this image looks perfect right out the gate, just by me doing just a little bit of stuff over here. So let me know if you guys want some of my Photoshop actions over here, some of my the quick the auto FX action, the figures of separation. That's something I'm gonna I bought and I've created some, but I'm gonna sell it, give it to you guys for basically nothing, $0, or even if I have to sell it, it will probably be around 99 cents just to keep you guys engaged. And if you go ahead and probably follow my Instagram, which is something I'm gonna do over here. If you go ahead and follow my Instagram, send me a screenshot that you followed me. I'll go ahead and send you all of my actions, so that you can be able to edit faster within Photoshop. So thank you guys for staying tuned. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below and let me know. Hit subscribe and turn on that post notification if you want to have or watch future videos from me. Thank you guys so much and have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.